All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, wherever you are in this beautiful world. Welcome to our what's this Tuesday evening Inner Circle live session. I'm your host Ryan Carthage. Will be joined shortly by my awesome partner, Mr. Benny Allen. Hope everybody is doing well today. So we are going to dive in. As always, let's turn off all distractions, grab a pen and paper for notes, and let's prepare to participate and engage. And for the courtesy of everybody on the call, please ensure that your mic is muted if you're not actively asking a question or making a comment. All right. So, real quick, drop me a one in the chat if you can hear me okay. No, nobody can hear me. Give me 1 second. So let's get to it, man. Um, take a look at some fundamentals real quick. Then we'll dive into the charts and see what has transpired throughout the day today. Um, cool deal. All right. Change you guys over. There we go. And can you guys see my screen? Trading economics. Yes. Perfect. All right. So a few things happening. Australia monthly CPI. All right. Inflation rate at an 8-month low. Monthly CPI indicator for Australia rose to 6.8% in the year to February 2023, easing from 7.4% gain on the year to January, and below the market consensus of 7.1. Right, this was the second straight month of lower annual inflation and the softest pace since June due to slower rise in prices of housing, food, and transport. Right, upper pressures largely came from cost of housing at 9.9%, namely new dwellings. So inflation is coming down in Australia. We know their last meeting notes, they discussed the potential to pause in the future, right? Um, so that was on the table and starting to see some of the data come in line with some of the rhetoric that we've heard over the past few weeks. All right, so CPI down in Australia, which means we could see the Aussie start to move to the upside a little bit. Okay, U.S. futures, U.S. stock futures rose on Wednesday after major averages finished lower during Tuesday's regular trading session, as growth stocks came under renewed pressure from rising Treasury yields. Futures contracts tied to the three major indices were all up at least 1%. In extended trading, Micron technology shares fluctuated on disappointing quarterly results. Lululemon jumped 13%. Then we had in regular trading on Tuesday, the Dow fell 1.12%, S&P lost 0.16%, and the Nasdaq Composite dropped 0.45%. There was the moves came as the Treasury yields rose for the second straight session on Tuesday, with the benchmark 10-year climbing toward 3.6%, right? So we're pushing back up toward that 4% mark that we've been hovering around for quite some time. Traders also continue to monitor the developments surrounding the banking turmoil, with Fed Michael Barr set to make another appearance in Washington on Wednesday. All right, so some back and forth there. Eyes still on the banking situation, which is still causing a little bit of unease. We had Japanese shares rise for the third straight session, and I believe that was it. Benny, good evening, bro.
Good evening, Ryan. Good evening, everybody. How are you, Ryan?
I'm doing well, man. How about yourself?
Doing pretty good.
That's
Doing
awesome,
pretty
bro.
good.
Um,
Yes. So it seems like, right? Seems like people are a little bit relieved. It seems like at least right now, it seems like they got the banking situation under control. Some, different entities stepping in
yeah,
to come to the support, you know, of these failing banks. So seeing some positive, movement out there. The concern I have about Australia, though, even though that CPI number is coming down, right? It's still right. It got a little boost, but you still look at the fact that they were talking about pausing rates, so this kind of just supports that data too. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Um, that it would consider pausing in April. So if they're going to be data dependent, a decline in CPI kind of lends to
lends
that
directly to
case
it.
for directly to it. So this the momentum that we saw coming out, it might only be temporary to the upside for the correction, which will play right into the sweet spot with some trend trade type setups on the Aussies.
Yeah, 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 for sure, for sure. Anything else you saw out there, bro? Throughout the day today?
No, man, just continue to watch just the effects of everybody coming to grips with the whole banking situation.
Yeah,
Seems to be, you know, I mean, it was just a week ago. Everybody was like, definite recession. Now it's back to, you know, we possibly don't see a recession happening. So,
it's a
it's
crazy back and
it's,
forth, man.
yeah, and you know what? We love it though, because that's what creates those ABCD waves in the market. So
This is
I'm
facts.
good.
This is
I'm
facts.
good. I'm good with the volatility, right? I don't care which way it moves. I just needed to move.
Just gotta move.
Yep.
Appreciate you, bro. Other thing we had this morning, uh, BOJ CPI came in under expectation, right? So we know Bank of Japan, they haven't made many or they haven't made any changes to their monetary policy. And you see inflation still coming down there as well. So interesting things. From a calendar perspective, tomorrow, not a ton, just pending home sales for the United States. Um, mm, 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 Got some lighter things happening: crude inventory, business confidence, credit credit squeeze, economic expectations. That'll be interesting. But yeah, nothing major happening tomorrow. Than we have on Thursday. CPI coming out of Europe, GDP and unemployment claims for the dollar, and then some speakers coming to the mic. So the rest of the week we could have some interesting things pop off, but for tomorrow, not a ton. All right, not a ton. So, any questions from a fundamental perspective? No. All right. Let's take a look at the dollar real quick. So we're monitoring the dollar in this crown pattern on the dollar, kind of caught in a bit of a range here between this daily support and this daily resistance, right? Push up to the upside, and we're looking to see if we broke above that to continue higher or if we stayed below, right? Coming back down to that support level. and you see we're just pressing back down. Well, that was 8 hour. Similar deal though, right? Pressing back down there on the daily, coming down to the 4, right? And you see that range a little bit more clearly there. So we'll continue to monitor this to see what happens, to see if we get another push to the upside, right? And if we break out of this range anytime soon, or if we even break below and continue moving to the downside to complete this crown pattern that is working its way. All right. So that's the dollar index. Um, so for dollar pairs, we could see those kind of range a bit, depending on what transpires throughout the evening. Okay. I'm going to check in on a couple pairs that I have been watching, or I'm actually in. One being that CAD Swiss. We've been watching this one over a period of time. Here we go. Right? No, don't want that. Here we go. So from a daily time frame perspective, we're finally pushing out of this 118, 127 zone. We come back to this previous weekly support level, right? And actually, I owe myself a daily resistance level here. But previous support level, come back to, right? And we'll see if we're able to break above that. I kept that in because that was a key level here where we started that range at that B boundary. So I kept that level in. And I want to see, are we able to break above that level finally and continue making higher highs and higher lows to the upside on this move here, right? So if we do break above that, then I'll go ahead and pull that out. We do have a daily resistance level here that we'd also need to break through and make our way back into this previous range before we see if we get some continuation to the upside there. All right. So down through the time frames, down to the 4, right? We also had that 80-20 scenario on the 4 hour, right? So we've got not quite a double bottom here, right? But turned over, pressed to the upside. So now we want to break through and see that push higher. I'm going to bring this down. And we come down to the 1. And this was the move on the 1 out of the overall range here, right? It was just bouncing all over the place. Right? Fibs got taken out both sides. So come back to the most recent zone, right? And I just ran this fib on the 1 off of this most recent high. And we had an 80-20 scenario here, didn't hit the D extension, and price turned over and pressed to the upside. All right. So looking for that move there to continue. Okay. So that's where we are on the CAD Swiss from that entry point. We're up about 100 pips almost. Maybe I can get to it. 77 pips to that level there, right? So we'll continue to monitor this and see how that moves. All right. So that's the CAD Swiss sitting in that one. Then we have a Benny posted a euro dollar. Take a look at it.
Hey, Ryan.
Sir.
Congratulations, man. That's a great entry. Super proud of you, man.
Appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it, man.
Super proud of you for having the patience and developing, right, and holding that position.
I appreciate it, man. It's been interesting. Originally, I got stopped out a little bit higher on that push down, right, and then we came back into the zone, started getting that movement. So, it's one of those things where, and we talk about it periodically, of just because you get stopped out doesn't mean that you run from the pair, right? Reassess, see if your bias is still the same, right? If your bias is still the same, then you look for your rules to be met and take another shot at it, right? And that's what happened in this scenario. Because I did get stopped out previously, took another look at it, saw price start to move, and came into the zone here. So had to pull the trigger again because my bias is still the same on this pair. Still the same. So I appreciate it, bro. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, well done.
Appreciate that. So that's cast. Any questions on the cast was? No. All right.
No,
Take a look at that euro dollar that we posted in the Discord. Um, there we go. There we go. All right. Hold on 1 second. All right. So on this euro dollar, they're here on the weekly. Right. We're still playing in this 118, 127 zone, right? B boundary zone here. We broke the previous weekly level, right? Pushed down below it. So this level is no longer, and I'm actually going to bring this down here to that support level there, right? So we got a support level here, pushing back to the upside. Okay, pushing back to the upside from a weekly time frame perspective. I'm gonna pull these out. Hold on. I'm gonna pull these previous weekly levels out here, and then I'll drop that new weekly level down like so. There we go. I mean, that's in line with the daily support level as well. So got that alignment there. So here we go on the daily time frame. That's a daily and weekly level. Look like that. Right. So on the daily, we got a 618 retracement and we're pushing to the upside. Right. Been bullish on the euro, but I'm interested to see what happens with the dollar, right? See what happens with the dollar. So, but pushing to the upside nonetheless, and got a little bit of that range action that similar to what we saw on the DXY as well, right? So we got a swing low here, two to the left, two to the right. We got a daily support level here as well, right? This push down just came back to retest its previous resistance zones. Okay, so drop that down. Now come to the 4, and here we are on the 4. 8-6 retracement, right? Didn't get to the A, created that swing low, and now we're pushing north. Okay, so we'll see if we continue to push here to get to the D extension to give us a new fib. That'll be something interesting to see as price continues to move throughout the week here. Coming down to the 1, here's the fib on the 1 we're looking at. Clear this out a bit. All right, this is a push to the upside. We got price pushing into this 118, 127 zone off the shallow retracement here on the 1 hour time frame, right? So we got 80-20 here on the 1 hour that we want to watch, keep our eyes on. But the post in the Discord was on the 15. Like so. All right. So we got 80-20 on the 15 as well. So we can watch it with the cloud here to wait to see if we get that cloud break. Right. Once we get that cloud break, that'll give us that confirmation for the entry press to the downside. Right. So we got some alignment on the 1 hour and on the 15 for potential retracement. And then we'll see if we get a continuation or if price continues to fall, right? Back down and taking out the A potentially. Okay. So that's what we're looking at there. So there's the setup on the 15. We got our TP1 here, TP1 there, and TP2 there. All right. So we'll watch that. And this is what the setup kind of looks like. All right. We're in that 118, 127 zone. So some folks take it out of the zone, right, and don't wait for the cloud break. Just when you see that 80-20 scenario, pull the trigger. And that's cool, right? If that's in your trade rules, then you should trade as your rules say, right? So there we are there. Right. So that's your stop loss. Stop just outside of that D extension, right? So that's 21 pips on the stop loss. TP1, you got 53, right? So you got a 2-to-1 there, and then you're over 60, so 3-to-1 almost. 3-to-1 to the downside, getting back to TP2, right? So that's what the trade setup looks like this, for those that like to see the risk to reward opportunity there. All right. So that is the euro dollar. That's what we're looking at. That's what we're waiting on. Cool. Any questions here?
No.
Whoops. It's supposed to be right. Nope. All right. Cool.
I think it's I definitely like to see that low price on that,
I
right?
would too, man.
For that correction play because we got some. I think now, right, we get a new low on that, right? So hopefully we get that correction. That'd be nice to the downside. But then once it hits that low again, right, we've got a little bit of central bank divergence between the U.S. and the European Central Bank.
Yeah. I didn't think
So
about that.
yeah, so I definitely, I say that because I definitely expect that euro to keep appreciating against the dollar. It's just about establishing a low price. So you already caught the low off the bottom. Now it's just a bit extended. See if we can get that correction to the downside and then look to get back long at a new low price. So
Mm, that's a
so
good
it's
point.
it's not only just to yeah, you know what I mean? It's not only just to pay attention for this 80-20 play, but we're waiting on that low again too, just fundamentally. Right. So
Yeah.
yep.
That actually kind of changed my perspective a little bit. Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it kind of removes the more on the long side as opposed to a decent potential for it to continue lower. Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's how I'm looking at it. It's just a continued appreciation of the ECB because some of the we got that dollar. I mean, it's just the opposite, right? The DXY, but
Mm-hmm.
that kind of takes the steam out of the dollar safe haven role. If people are starting to feel more uh, confident in the whole central, not the central bank, but the whole bank situation in regards to, hey, these are just some one-off banks and it's not a contagion like they keep saying. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think so that's just my ideas for that to eventually continue long. The correction plan is because it's what is that from that wick low off that daily to that where it's at now? How many pips is that? It's run quite a ways to the upside.
Off here. Off that daily from here.
Off the yeah. You go back to the four if you have to, but
135.
yeah. So it's like for the Euro USD, I'm thinking it's, hopefully before it hits that D extension on that sub fit where we got that 80-20 play, hopefully we get a correction on that.
Yeah.
And then see how that's extended,
Yeah.
you know, which is why it's kind of just pausing just a little bit. So hoping to see that correction, then a continuation. But if I hadn't caught the initial move on a euro dollar to the upside, I would be looking for this price to correct right before I jumped in and started buying. I wouldn't buy at the top right now. We
Yeah.
need the correction.
Yeah. For sure.
So
You caught this low here off the 86.
yeah, I was in it. I was in it for a bit. Then when it got extended, I'm like, it was in my one account, so not not one of the ones that I'm playing those longer term swing trades. So I let it top out, and then I got out. So that's how I spotted that 80-20 potential. So I started to move through the lower time frames to see that, man. Well, I was kind of pausing up at
Gotcha.
these levels. It may be time, sooner or later for it to correct. Then I'll catch a new low price in that account. So
I'm
to get
digging.
back in. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and if people, if you caught it long and you're still in it, then this is just an opportunity for you to wait for a new low price and then add to your position if you just if you're rolling with the prevailing trend, which is up right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know.
I'm with it. I'm with it. I like that. I
mm,
like that.
mm.
All right. Cool deal. Any questions on the euro dollar?
No.
Sweet. All right. Cool deal. I want to take a look at this pound CAD. So I took a shot at this one to the downside here. So on the weekly, right? On the weekly, don't have a 382. We're hovering at this weekly resistance level, right? Not able to break through it here, came back to it, not able to break through it to get to the D extension that's just above, right? So potential double top action there. Come down to the daily, right? And here you see that potential double top action a little bit more clearly here, right? We got to the 382 on the daily, but not able to break to the upside, right? And this is a previous resistance level. I left that in, right? We'll see if we're able to break back below, retest, and continue if this is going to continue short. Okay, if that's going to continue short, we'll have to wait to see. So coming down to the 4, we got an 80-20 scenario here, right? And we turned over right at that weekly level and started making our way down, right? So pressing down now out of that 118, 127 zone. If we're able to break below this daily level, then definitely looking for potential to get high probability to get to TP1, right? Got a 4-hour support level here that we have to break through, but I've been looking for price to continue to the downside there, right? So just starting to move, but that first TP is 270 pips to the downside, right? So it's a good opportunity there if price is able to break through those levels. Coming down to our 1, similar scenario, right? 118, 127 zone, bang. Price making those lower highs and lower lows to the downside here. Okay. We got a nice pull back off that initial push, and now we're headed down. Okay. So there, right? 220 on the 1 hour to TP1. Okay.
Hey man,
Yo.
you're getting pretty good at this.
Man, listen.
That's a beautiful entry, man. If you lose this trade, that you take those to the bank. You're good.
I'll take
That's
it all.
yeah.
But it comes being able to study with you. You know what I mean? I am because you are. So I appreciate you, bro, for
Hey,
for allowing me to pick your brain and ask you the thousands and thousands of questions that I have over the past. So we're going on 4 years now.
Yeah, man.
So
yeah, man. Appreciate it. Teamwork make the dream work.
Makes the dream work, man. Makes the dream work.
That's a really good end. What is that down? How many pips is that down already?
40.
Yeah.
Yep. 40.
That's a good week for some people, man.
It is. It definitely is, man. All right. It definitely is. And it just so putting in the time. Putting in the time. Right? 3 years ago.
Yeah.
4 years ago. I wasn't catching this. Right. I wasn't able to consistently catch this. Right. But it's the hours and hours and hours of marking up, looking at the charts, practicing, right? And literally when I tell you guys, man, the more you do it, the better you become. The more you do it, the better you become.
Yeah. Kudos to you, man. That's excellent. It's excellent. It's excellent work.
Appreciate it, bro.
That's excellent work. See how it plays out, man.
Yep. We'll continue to monitor.
All right. It's about to edge over time. So all you can do is spot the location and pull the trigger on the trade. The rest got to take care of itself.
Yep.
Amazing job.
Yep. Just let it ride. Right? Just let it ride. The risk is intact, and we go with it. And we go with it. So that's the pound CAD, right? On the lower time frame, we had this scenario here coming off the high. And this was one of the situations because I had missed the original push to the downside. And I even missed this push back up to that 618 retracement level. But we had a 618 retracement, right? Matching B extension is there. Price is making its way to the downside, right? It's making that move down. So we also had that second opportunity if we didn't get right in that 118, 127 zone, had another opportunity there. And then if we drop the cloud on and just take a look at the cloud breaks, right? So that entry came off the cloud break here, then we had a pullback, and then that continuation to the downside, right? So we're moving. So we'll continue to monitor that. We can monitor on the 15 once we get to the D extension, look for a pullback and then continuation down. All right. And then we'll see what happens, right? If this is to continue lower, there's more opportunity in that, right? If we're supposed to get a deeper retracement on that daily time frame or off this weekly level, right, we'll be able to monitor that on these lower time frames as we continue to break the levels. Okay, so we'll wait and see. Okay, so that is the pound CAD. Questions on this one? No.
No.
Sweet, cool deal. One other. I want to take a look at this. Benny posted this dollar CAD in the Discord. I want to take a look at it. There we go. Let's come back. Take the cloud off. Oh, didn't want the weekly. Daily. Here we go. Clean this up a little bit and we can take a look to see what we got. All right, so we're pushing down off the highs. All right, pushing down off the highs. This was a previous daily level. Take that out. We'll just look at this move to the downside here. Also previous resistance level that is no longer. Take that out as well. So now we're looking at this clean move to the downside potentially. Right, I want to see if we get a pullback on that at some point. Okay, so that's the daily look. We already got a 50% retracement, almost a double bottom scenario there. Push to the upside, pullback. Then we'll see what happens going forward. So come down to the 4. Zoom back out again. Track the fibs to the upside and then to the downside. Boom, right? So we got caught in the range a bit. So they get taken out both ways. I'm going to run them to the upside and then see if we get them back to the downside. Whoops. Like so. Okay. Oh. So here, right? Had an 80-20 scenario there, pushing down, coming into an 8-6 retracement level here, right? Starting to slow down a bit on the momentum, right? This is on the 4, coming into an 8-6 retracement, consolidation here that we broke out of, coming back to retest that consolidation. So as we continue tracking down to the 1, boom, right? So we got an 7-8-6 retracement now, also pushing to the downside here, right? Also pushing to the downside. So I want to flip this real quick and look at it from this perspective. Boom. So here on the 1 hour, we got a 50% retracement, pressing down. The extension is there, right? So we're pressing down on the higher time frames, but will we get a retracement first before we get that continuation, right? So come down to the 15 and we'll look at these moves to the downside. And this is where the setup out of the Discord came, right? And we're here. Shallow retracement, pushing down into the 118, 127 zone. Okay. Yep. Pushing down to that 118, 127 zone. Right. So consolidating now, we can drop the cloud on. Boom. We can track it on the 15, or we can copy this and take it down to the 5 to look for the cloud break. Right, there you go. So now we wait and be patient. Cloud break, Kumo twist. That's what we need. Okay, then we got TP1, TP2. Right, and you can look at this how we're looking at it. Right, you can place your stop below the D and get it out of the way. Right, something like that. Boom. 40 pips, 64 pips, and then we'll see what happens. Okay, but there's a retracement opportunity, and then we'll see if we have an opportunity to get back short, coming back down to some of those lower levels. Okay, so that's a dollar CAD. Questions here? Anybody watching this one closely?
Yes.
Yeah. Sweet.
And just a quick question.
Yeah.
Overall, is the direction bullish or bearish on this pair?
On this one overall, let's come back on.
Yeah.
Okay, right. So on the daily time frame, overall we've been up. We got a 50% retracement. Let me clean this up. Right, but double top scenario. So we have kind of some, I'll say, some uncertainty with the dollar. What Benny just talked about, right? So we got some optimism coming into the market. Banking situation starting to ease out a little bit. Central banks starting to say, well, let's take a look at this differently, slow our pace, let's see what's happening, right? So we could be in for, if that narrative continues, for price to continue pushing downside off of not quite a double top scenario here, right? So that's what we'll have to monitor. But right now, my bias on this one is short, right? I'm bullish on these Canadian dollar pairs, right? Got a little bit of bullish action coming on some on oil. Canada, they haven't changed their narrative as of late, so they're still looking at data to ensure that because they paused last 2 weeks ago, right? So I'm looking at this one to potential continue to the downside, right? But we'll have to monitor to see how it goes. We do have the support level here. I just saw that, right? That support level there. So once we get back to this level, then we'll see if price bounces or if we continue lower. But my bias on this one right now is short.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm. So with that 15-minute play, ultimately, right, you see these lines here, TP1, TP2, and if we zoom in on this daily time frame, we see what happened, right? We had a bit of consolidation here, right? And we had the support level here. Right? So we had this zone of consolidation, and this was a support level. Okay. And so with this retracement on the lower time frames, ultimately coming back to retest those levels that we had a nice bearish breakout of. Right? So break out of the consolidation to the downside, pull back, retest, and then we'll see if we get a continuation short, at least to this daily support level here. And then we'll reassess. If we break that, then we could be heading even lower.
Okay.
That's my higher time frame thought. Benny, what are your thoughts on that, man?
You say you're thinking short?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's downside pressure on it. I mean, it's continuing to correct to the downside.
Yeah. At least to that daily level, and then we'll reassess and see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. You may get a pullback before that, but
yeah, well,
ultimately down to that level.
Yep. So looking at that, because I put up that 15-minute, right? So looking at this pullback here, and then something like that. Right. So we're bringing this all the way back down to the 15 to that setup, right? Get rid of these. My bad. Let's get rid of these. Now let's come back to that 15-minute setup. And this is what that looks like, Jeremy, right? This is that zone that I drew out on the higher time frame. Boom, right? So pull back into that zone that we broke out of. And then, right, we got that D extension on the 15 just below that daily support level. So that's kind of in alignment with that move. And then we'll see what happens. Cool.
Yes. But I'm just looking at my chart, and on the 4 hour, it's on the I think 786 fib level, and my stochastic is showing oversold.
Oversold. So
Yeah.
price to push back to the upside.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. And I think on the hour as well, my stochastic is oversold.
So that kind of makes sense, right? For retracement to come here.
Yeah.
Yep. And then we'll see, right? We definitely could, right? If we stay inside that A boundary, because even that D extension, right? This dotted line is that D extension. If we hit that D extension, that's still inside the A boundary, right? So that's why I said this daily level. Once we get there, if we get there, then I'll reassess to see what could potentially happen next.
Okay. Thanks.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
So that level is going to be key for me. And if we stay inside the A boundary, or if we break below it, then we'll take out that A and we'll flip these fibs to the downside. Right. So I follow you on that. And that stochastic being oversold, that kind of follows the narrative of potential retracement coming here.
Okay, makes sense now. Yeah.
And then, hey, it could, right? It could continue higher, right? We are at a deep retracement point, so it could continue higher. This could be the initiation of that longer move too. So we'll see. Cool.
Yes.
Sweet. All right. I want to take a look at this caddy. So the Swiss yen, I ended up getting stopped out on. I've been watching this one, and it's playing around in the zone. It's been playing around in the zone. I had a tighter stop than I should have had on it, but it's just been bouncing back and forth. And I was trying to push to the upside. Been looking to see if price can get back to this 144.988 level. And on the 4, right, we got that 118, 127 zone here. Right. And we've just been hovering sideways here. Now we're trying to push a little bit to the upside. Okay. Coming down to the 1, we got to move off the B boundary to the upside. The initial 80-20 scenario didn't play out. We pressed down and we just been bouncing, right? Just been pressing sideways. And then if you come down to the 15, and this is ultimately what you had. We had this B boundary move to the downside to come back and retest that support level. And then if you ran fibs off the high, you had another 80-20 scenario here, right? I missed this move here to the upside. But 80-20 scenario broke the cloud and we pushed. So now we're in another scenario on the upside now, right? So we'll see if we get a nice pullback, low price, to then get a continuation long potentially. We'll see, right? But I missed that move to the upside there. But this is one that I've been watching. I got stopped out on it originally, and then I took my eyes off of it and some of that sideways push there. But this one is trying to move to the upside. So on that break, 80 pip move to the upside there. So we'll see what happens. See if we get a low price and then get another opportunity to get long, get to the D extension. And that's on the 5. So come to the 15, and that's what the look is on the 15. You had a nice deep retracement here. 8-6 retracement, cloud break. Now we're getting a pullback. Right? So this kind of goes into the narrative of momentum shifting, off that deep retracement, matching the extension is a little bit away at 143,961. Right. So we'll see what this pullback looks like and see if we get an opportunity to a low price opportunity to get back long on it and take it to the D extension on the 15. So this is one to watch as well. See if we get a nice pullback on it. Okay. And then we're looking at price coming there. Questions on the Swiss yen? I know I went to that one kind of quick.
No.
Sweet. And then this is one I haven't had a chance to take a look at yet. Pushing to the upside. So here on this CAD yen, right? So all these ends are starting to move, and the CAD crosses are also starting to get a little momentum, right? So this one was also just hovering in this 80-20 zone, right? The 118, 127 push back down to that weekly support level, trying to push long. All right, nice bullish action, pull back, take back a portion of that candle, and now we're bullish. Coming here to the 4, you got your double bottom action there, right? Oops. Right? Beautiful push off, V bottom, push to the upside. Okay. So now we're tracking long. And on the 1, whoops. What's happening? There we go. Yeah, you should. So here on the 1, right? Bounced, didn't get to the D extension, and now we're pushing long. Got a bit of a crown pattern reversal here. Right? 382, matching the extension is there. So pushing long on this CAD yen, right? And it's just getting started. So we'll see if we are able to keep that momentum and at least get back to the top of this range here, right? At least get back to the top of this range. Okay, but pushing long nonetheless, right? So we'll see, like on the 15 here, right? Can we get, again, another yen cross, right? Can we get a low price to give us an opportunity to get back long? Right, and here's that cloud break, move to the upside. Okay, so can we get a nice low price? And then we'll look at an opportunity long there. And then we can play the ABCDs. Back to that daily level. Man, it's getting stuck. Back to that daily level at least. All right, so let's watch this one. Something like that. If you want to play that 80-20, you could. You definitely could. Boom. Okay. So that's the CAD yen, 80-20 opportunity there. Questions on the CAD yen?
Nope.
All right. Benny, you got any others you got your eyes on, bro?
No, well, I guess the one. Can you check the Aussie dollar for me?
Yes, sir.
I want to see. I still want to see if it catches that move to the upside to that 382 off the 4.
Yeah. So just real quick, daily, right? Trying to push off that B boundary, get back to at least that 67842, potentially higher, right? And here's a look, 80-20 on the 4. It's the 842 level. 382 is at 68,360. So it's trying to get there, right?
Yeah, it's hanging in there.
It's slowly making that trek to the upside. Oops, let's do this. slowly making that trek to the upside. So we'll see. Let's see. Let's come down to the on the one. We got a deep retracement there with the fib coming down. Let's run these to the upside. Boom. Yeah, it might turn over and give us that push. That's on the 1, and then on the 15. Boom. Similar deal. Retesting that cloud after that push off. Yeah, I think we can make it at least back to that level and then continue higher. Yep.
Yeah, it's just taking its time.
It is.
But it's moving in that direction.
It is. Any others?
I mean, I was playing that Euro Swiss to the upside. I'm thinking that's going to move into a corrective phase here soon too. Off to 4. It's
getting back to the top of the range there on the daily. On the 4, took out the A off those fibs coming down. Boom. It didn't pop in.
Right, there you go.
Yep. 618 pushing. Come down to the 1. Let's see. There we go. We'll cloud out 2 for a second. Boom. There's our low. There's Yep. Swing high there.
Yeah, that's right.
Gotcha.
Yes, you can see it's getting a little extended.
Yep. Let's run off the sell fib.
See?
Yep.
So it might be due sooner or later, right? So again, just like the euro dollar, kind of sit back, wait for another low price to occur.
Yeah. That's on the weekly. Here's my 15. All of them set up beautifully there. Let's look at this one here. This might give me the look I was looking for. Oh, same. Yep. So maybe one more push to the upside, get into that 118, 127 zone.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah. So I've been
deal.
in this other account, I've been grabbing the bag. I haven't been holding it through a lot of the corrections. So let it run, and then I let it get established a new low price. So that's how I'm playing that account. So
I like that strategy. I do.
Yeah.
In my past, I'm giving some money back to the market, trying to hold all the way through.
Yeah, I just figured when I did this one, I'm trying to do it for vacation. So I just like, you know what, I'll build it, and but I'll there's times where like I said today, like I'm just gonna let the correction play out and then look to get back in on it. So because I'm overall bias is still long on the euro. So we'll see.
I'm with it, bro. I like that. Cool.
Appreciate it.
Questions on this Euro Swissy?
No.
All right, we've got a couple minutes left. Are there any pairs that you guys have your eyes on that you want to take a look at? Drop them in the chat for me if you have them. Nope. All right. Cool.
Well, I guess that's it.
Pound Aussie. Take a look at the pound Aussie, and then we'll wrap it up. So, come to the weekly. We broke through this level finally. Boom. Right? Broke through the level. Now let's see if we come back and retest and continue long. It'd be interesting to see, right? Because we had CPI data for the Aussie, gave it a boost, but you also have optimism in the stock market, which the pound tends to follow the stock market. So this one could get interesting, but what I'd be looking for potentially is something like this, and then a continuation long, something like that. All right. So didn't get to 382 on the daily time frame, and with us breaking that level, we may not get that before we may not get it. Right. We might push that D extension there. So looking for potential retracement and continuation long. So come down to the 4. And here on the 4, we're hovering in the 118, 127 zone. So we'll see. Right. We'll see. This level, I'm going to leave that in there because we just broke it. Right. And then the question will be on the retracement, right? Because we do have 80-20 on the daily and on the 4. Do we stay above it and continue to press long, right? Does this just become a retest and continuation? Now, the other side of it is we break below that in a nice bearish fashion, get a pullback, and then continuation short. That's the other side of that coin, right? So when we get back to this level, we'll want to watch it closely to see what happens. Okay. So it's turning over now. We'll see if we get that continued press to the downside to get back to 182,770. On the 1, you also have an 80-20 scenario. And on the 1, we broke the cloud, pushed back up to retest, right? So this might be an opportunity. These pound pairs, let's see, back to that weekly level is 140 pips. Okay. That's a nice week. And then we'll see what happens there. If we break and continue, right, then there could be more potential to the downside. But I'm looking for at least this retracement here. Like that. So we got 80-20 on all 3 time frames, really, daily, 4, and 1, right? And so now we want to see that move back down. Okay. So my thought is when we get to this weekly level, let's watch and assess to see what where we sit and what transpires at that level. I think we do get this pullback here to continue lower, at least to 182,770. Okay. It's actually nice. Questions on that? You're welcome, Bridget. You seeing something similar? What are your thoughts on it, Bridget? Or anybody's thoughts?
Yes, I was seeing something similar. I just noticed the 80-20s on several of the time frames,
Yeah.
but I was a little hesitant in that area because it looked like it kind of had a good push upward. And I was a little hesitant to go in because I like to get in when it gets into that that zone, the 80-20 zone, because I feel like my stop loss, it's a lot shorter. I don't know.
Okay.
It just so I like to do that, but I need to get in the habit of waiting on my confirmations. But yeah.
So answer me this. What do your rules say about your entry?
Well, I kind of do my rules are more so like pending orders.
Okay.
because I'm not able to look at it like that all the time.
Okay.
So what I have been doing is just kind of doing the pending orders when it gets to that area, just going in. And I have seen a lot of success with that, but I think I, in my own little way, like to be perfect, but which is unattainable. So I do like the cloud as well. I do like those confirmations, but sometimes it takes a little longer.
Mm-hmm.
And just being able to wait on that and to keep looking back and forth, sometimes that can be a little tedious for me. But
Gotcha.
um,
Gotcha.
yeah,
So what I'll challenge you to do is, right, be specific in your rules and your entry. And if you're setting that pending order in between that 118, 127 zone, right?
right.
And whatever you calculate your stop loss to be, right? If you set just a normal 50 pip stop loss or whatever that may be, right? Do that consistently, right?
Yes, I'll
Do it
do.
consistently, right? When you see this scenario developing, put your pending order in, place your stop loss, and allow the trade to do what it's going to do, right? Or if you use those pending orders, you hear Benny talk about it all the time, because it could push, right? Potentially looking at
Right.
using the wider stop to give it that room to breathe and turn over like it did here, right? You trade smaller, but you'll be able to allow the market to move, right? 113 pip stop for the potential of 150, 160 pips, right? So,
Right.
but whatever your rules state, right? And so that you can force the discipline of following the rules, right? So my challenge for you is to force that discipline. Whatever the rules are, and get specific with them. Whatever the rules are with the confirmations, wait on those. Right. And I'm with you on not being able to sit and watch the charts all the time. So the pending orders definitely work. And when the trade's in his own, pull a trigger. Pull the trigger.
Yes.
And it's gonna feel weird. It's gonna be scary. You know what I mean? But the important piece is documenting how you feel going through that experience. Right? What does it feel like? What are the thoughts that you're having as you're placing that pending order? What are the thoughts you have as price goes into drawdown? What are the thoughts you have as price goes back into profit? And document those, and then you can address those individual feelings and understand where they come from, right? So you can put in guardrails for yourself to ensure that as those feelings arise in the future, now let me go back in before I just close out the trade because I'm nervous. Let me assess the chart, assess where price is, look at the price action. Has my bias changed? If not, hands off, allow the trade to do what it's going to do. If your bias changed, then you can make a different decision, right? So I challenge you to go through some of those thoughts and document your feelings as you're going through that, because that'll be really, really important as you move forward.
Okay, I will do that. Thank you, Ryan.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Great job, right? Great job on your analysis. Great job seeing that. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Love the work. Love the work. All right, good people. Benny, anything before we close it out, bro?
No, sir. Awesome. Oh, awesome session tomorrow. There will not be we'll get the communication out, Ryan. It won't be a pre-New York session as I do have to travel out of town. So we'll get that communication out. But other than that, great session. Great work, great analysis. And keep up the good work, everybody.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate it, bro. Everybody, have a good evening, good morning, depending on where you are, and we'll chat with you later. Peace.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.